It's Commander Time! Welcome to Commander Time. We are yet another podcast about Magic the Gathering format known as Commander. I'm Nate Burgess.
And I'm Patrick Cipolla.
And Dean is somewhere getting his computer fixed, or his internet is broken or something. Yeah, we had some trouble this last month getting everyone together. Yeah, today, while the Commander 2018 previews are dropping, I will be talking about my Urborg AtraxaBowl deck, just to get that off the table, so we don't have to think about it ever again. We're going to be, we're going to be moving to shorter episodes in the hopes of being able to do more of them, so that the next one comes out before an entire set is released. We kind of skipped over Core Set 19, and I do have some things to say about Vivictus Asmati the Dyer. I think it's Vivictus.
Vivictus.
I think it's
Vuvictus. I think it might be Vuvictus.
If they're saying AETHER is ether, then this has to be Vivictus, right?
Huh.
You can't just pick and choose your vowels in your made-up languages.
Well, we already do that in English, Nate.
Yeah. Coming up in our next episodes, we'll come back to Vivictus Asmati the Dyer at some point. For Commander 2018, I will probably have something to say about Brudiclad Telcor Engineer, Erixmathes, the Slumbering Isle, the Kraken that's a land. That looks kind of
neat. That guy. Yeah, that guy does look interesting.
Xancha Sleeper Agent looks kind of cool.
I'm probably gonna be building her in paper. I have about a third of a deck put together already.
All right, we can do that and compare.
Yeah.
Maybe Yuriko the Tiger Shadow, and maybe Verena Lich Queen.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I like the art on Verena. It looks like she's in a Star Wars hologram command bunker kind of thing. Because she's got these holograms in front of her.
Oh, yeah, you're right. She's the zombie lady.
Yeah, it does seem it might be kind of too straightforward with Zombie Tribal, though. It's kind of like Scarab God Plus.
She's very much just a zombie in Esper colors for specifically the zombie people. So
yeah,
you don't have to make that choice anymore. Do you want to be Orzhov or do you want to be Dimir? Well, why not be both?
Yeah, I have a 4-color zombie tribal with Kraum and Ravos, and I looked at that and I subtracted out the red cards, and I'm not losing much. I'm losing Thraxamundar and Lord of Tressorhorn and Unscythe Killer of Kings and Anathemancer. But other than that, it's mostly a mono black deck with splashing. But it's not mono anyway. And the ninja lady, Yuriko the Tiger Shadow, I think that is going to be like Edric with Conspiracy and Xenographed and Arcane Adaptation. I don't think it's going to be Ninja Tribal. I think the best decks are going to be unblockable things that you just tutor up Conspiracy and suddenly they're all ninjas.
No, I think I agree with you on that. That being said, I can definitely see builds where you try to Voltron her.
Yeah, maybe.
It'll be interesting, but just you attack and then nobody knows when it's going to be the lethal swing.
Yeah, well, it triggers for each ninja, so it's like Edric, you're going to want to have more creatures for your mana.
Yeah, except for it doesn't have the political power of Edric, so...
Yeah. Is there anything else but first?
I was in the ER on Wednesday, but other than that...
What was that for?
I was having, level 8, or, number 8 pains in my stomach, and so I went to the ER, and then they gave me I think it's called a GI cocktail, which numbed the pain a little bit, and then it was enough for me to go to sleep and kind of ride out the pain without wanting to die. Yeah.
Is that food poisoning?
Nope. Oh. No idea what it was. It just hurt like a mofo for about 12, 15 hours.
So when you say 8 on the pain scale, that's like where they have the pictures of the faces and their...
Yeah, it was in between moderate and severe pain.
Ouch.
On the moderate side, I was able to sleep a little bit. On the severe side, I was not able to sleep. So...
Well, that's no fun.
No, but, it's over, so I'm happy.
Okay. Patron shout out to Andronica Spenatelli.
Whoa.
And there you go.
Did you practice saying his name before?
Yeah, I might have said it a couple times.
Because that is not how I would have read it at all on my first go.
Oh yeah, I was also a prop guy in theater for Titus Andronicus, the Shakespeare play.
Oh, that would make sense. Okay.
Yeah. So I handled the props. There were some chains and a little plate of hors d'oeuvres that was like. Anyway, you'll have to read the story to know what the hors d'oeuvres were. Let's see. What's your top card? Let's do the top upgrade card of Core 19, so we'll get that out of the way. This is the card that will best upgrade one or more of your existing decks. Patrick.
I'm going with Chaos Wand.
Okay.
It doesn't have a particular spot it is replacing, but it is going to make Gonti, at the very least, a little bit stronger, because I'm going to be able to start stealing everybody's ramp spells in a more consistent way. It does cost 7, but it doesn't have to be in the top 4 cards. It can just be somebody's, nature's lore that they hadn't drawn yet. So,
right.
And at some point, sometimes Gonti just gets priced out of being able to be cast.
Does your Gonti deck already run a Paradox engine?
Yes.
Okay. And it already runs a few mana rocks?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine then.
Yep. I think it's just going to make it more fun in general, because then the spell gets cast right away or not, and everybody doesn't get angry at me for having a pile of face-down cards of theirs.
They just get angry at you for casting every instant and sorcery in all of their decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is on theme for Gonti.
It totally is.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think I can see this just popping up in random decks to doing things that your deck can't do. Or if you have that one guy who really likes to storm off, you can stop, and he hasn't drawn into it yet, you can cast his storm.
That guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can you do this at any time?
Yeah.
You can cast a sorcery at any time.
Yep.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. The only real downside to Chaos Wand is that you can't target yourself. You can't cheat your own giant spells into play, but you can cheat everybody else's.
Right. Okay. I'm going to go with the Nexus of Fate, the one that I don't have. It's the Buy a Box promo, and it is the extra turn spell that shuffles back into the deck. And
yeah.
I think Jaleva would rather have fewer extra turn spells that are reusable than a lot of extra turn spells, and most of them exile themselves.
Yeah, and you already need to make room for a couple other spells that are coming out in the Commander set.
Yeah, I saw a couple. There. Yeah. How about the main topic?
Yeah.
The main topic! I'm going to talk about my Urborg Atraxa. This is the Atraxa deck that I took to AtraxaBowl, and the deck has nothing to do with Atraxa. There are no counters of any kind. It just has Atraxa at the top and uses the 4 colors to do something janky and terrible. It might as well be a Canadian Highlander deck, because I'm not really having Atraxa there for anything as just an emergency blocker, really.
And lifelink is never not useful.
Yeah. It is useful to have that available there, but she's not a part of the strategy of the deck at all.
Yeah. Feels like a lot of the Commander decks I initially build.
Yeah, so the budget for this event, I think it was 250, and I came in at around 160. So I had room. I had a lot of room.
Yeah, you
And
did.
there is space I could have upgraded some things, and I'll point those out. But the secret commander of the deck is Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, and it's all around combos based on Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, and it doesn't matter who plays it. So if all the combos in your deck revolve around a card that a lot of decks play, and it doesn't matter who plays it, well, then that's one piece out of the way. Your opponents can help you do that, and sometimes they do.
Yeah.
So Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth is a land, and when you play it, every other land becomes a swamp. And that becomes relevant. Because in AtraxaBowl, so in my opening hand I had a forest and a card called Spreading Algae, and that's an enchantment for a single green. And it can only enchant a swamp. And when that swamp becomes tapped, then it gets destroyed, and Spreading Algae goes back to my hand, so I can do it again. So if I play Urborg, then everything's a swamp, and I can destroy whatever land I want. Well, I can enchant whatever land I want, and whenever it gets tapped, it gets destroyed. And so in that game, I was going to play it on whoever played the first swamp, and unfortunately...
Son of a gun.
Yeah, there's nothing personal.
Yeah, it was also the second swamp that you targeted.
Yeah. Well, you played the second swamp too.
Yeah, and I needed the black mana to actually be a part of the board and hang out with everybody and do things, and then you just kept killing it, and then it made me sad.
Well, everybody else needed to play swamps.
Yeah, nobody else was.
Well, they did later.
Yeah.
And then I started doing that. So yeah, in the early game, it's pretty mean. And so the next thing is Karma. It's an enchantment for 2 white, and on the upkeep, you count how many swamps you have, and that's how much damage you take.
Mm-hmm.
And it works for everybody.
It sure do.
So the cute thing is, it might be annoying. Like if you have 8 lands out, then, you got a 5-turn clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I cast Fractured Identity on Karma, then it goes away, but then there's 3 Karmas on the board.
Yeah. So you're down to like a 2-turn clock.
Yeah, something like that.
It's between 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm. And so to protect myself from that, I also added Circle of Protection White and Rune of Protection White. And those are some cheap white enchantments. They're pretty old and historical, but if I pay some mana into them, then a white source does not deal me damage. And so I can protect myself from the Karmas.
And Karma does say Karma deals the damage. It is not just damage that appears.
Yep. It's not that kind of damage. I don't think there is that kind of damage.
I think it's generally loss of life in that case.
Yeah. And I also had the Circle and Rune of Protection White to protect me from the incoming Atraxas, because I knew I was playing in AtraxaBowl and everyone was going to have Atraxa.
You metagamed your deck way more than anybody else did.
Yeah, I can get to that. There's a bit on that later. So one of the main combos of the deck is Cormuspell. And Cormuspell is an artifact for 4. And when it comes into play, all swamps become 1/1 creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do with that is I play a lot of cards that give a -1/-1 or more to all my opponent's creatures. So
hey, that's my stuff.
Yep. So all your creatures and your lands, suddenly most of them die off. And then I'm the only one with lands. So Doomwake Giant, Massacre Worm, those are some creatures that can do it. Festering March is probably my favorite because it keeps happening every 3 turns. It's a sorcery. And it costs 3 black. And when it happens for that turn, but then it gets 3 suspend counters on it. And it just happens again and again every 3rd turn. And it's great. I like it.
I should actually maybe consider getting this for some of my decks against Reese, the Redeemed.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're facing a lot of token decks in your meta, it's solid.
Maybe not a lot of token decks so much as just that one.
Yeah. There's some instants that will give all my opponents creatures -1/-1, cower in fear, make obsolete, profit/loss. It's one of those split cards, and zealous persecution. And they're all pretty cheap instants. To support that, I also have a few cards that turn all my opponents' creatures into 1/1s, so that they can that -1/-1 can kill all the creatures as well as the lands. So there's Godhead of Awe. Will do it. Polymorphous Jest is an instant that can do it. Like if an opponent is attacking me, then I Polymorphous Jest, turn all their stuff into frogs, and then use one of my instants that kills all their stuff.
Makes sense.
And that's what they get for attacking me. Next, out of budget. So some cards that I considered that were out of budget. Humility would also work in this deck for turning all my... Well, it would turn all the creatures into 1/1s, but
I
my
guess you could
opponents
use Overwhelming Splendor.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive. It's high mana cost.
Well, yeah.
Speaking of expensive, well, in real-world dollars, there is Living Plane, which is a green enchantment that costs about $250.
Also known as Don Miner's favorite card.
Yeah, so you don't need to mess around with the Cormus Bell and the Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. If you just play a Living Plane, then you can get away with it. But that was out of budget.
That would be the entire budget of the deck.
Yep. Yeah, I got one card. So for equipment with Urborg, there's Lash Writhe and Nightmare Lash. Both of them give bonuses based on how many swamps you have. And I think both of them, you don't really have to pay mana to equip them. Like one of them's Phyrexian mana, and one of them just says straight up pay some life to equip it. Since everything is a swamp, then Swamp Walk is good. So things like Filth. If Filth is in my graveyard as a creature, then all my creatures have Swamp Walks. Rexiel the Risen Deep has Swamp Walk and Island Walk. So if that comes out on the board in an AtraxaBowl game, then it's probably getting through to somebody. And Shieldred, Whispering One, also has Swamp Walk. But I did not include that one in the deck because I'm kind of bored with Shieldred. I want to see other things happen.
Yeah. I mean, she's still powerful. It's just very predictable.
Yeah. Nightmare Incursion is a spell that I count how many swamps I have, and then I get to look through somebody's deck and remove that many cards and exile them from the game. So that would have been neat.
Who would you have targeted, Nate?
I don't know. Oh, at that time I probably would have targeted Sean because he had the Helm of the Host out and was doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I did learn is with Thada Adel Inquisitor, I did have a lot of fun with her in that game because I got to look through everyone's deck. But don't go for the mana rocks first. Go for the combo pieces. Go for the powerful stuff and exile that first. Yeah, because I've been bitten by that twice in the last couple weeks. So, yeah, with Thada, get the dangerous stuff out of the way first.
That makes sense. Unless you know you're not going against dangerous decks that can just win out of nowhere.
Well, that's why you got Thada Adel to look through the deck, and you have 30 seconds to figure out what the deck's doing.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to lose a point for the league.
Mm-hmm. For mana, there is Cryptghast and Cabal Coffers, of course. They can make my swamps give more mana. There is a Liliana of the Dark Realms, also can amplify swamps quite a bit. And I did include Torment of Hailfire and Villainous Wealth as some backup win conditions, just in case. And I had a Boundless Realms, because I had I didn't have any non-basic lands in my deck.
What?
Yep. I don't think I did. Except for, I might have had a Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds.
Well, and Urborg.
Yeah, and Urborg. But other than that, I really wanted to go super budget, so I didn't have any of the dual lands of any type. tutors, I had a lot of tutors because this is a combo deck and I needed some combos. So I had Expedition Map, Crop Rotation, and Sylvan Scrying, all of them to get Urborg when I need it. And for budget tutors, I had Beseech the Queen, Dark Petition, Diabolic Tutor, and Runescarred Demon. I'm not sure if that one's still a budget tutor anymore. It's probably not.
I don't remember either. I got my one foil copy and then I stopped caring about its price.
Mm-hmm. I'm done. Check off the list.
It's done. I can keep it in my binder forever now, and whenever I need it, I can just slide it right out and put it in a deck until I don't need it anymore.
Yep.
That's how collections work.
Man, you're dropping the science here. Okay, so the next section is anti-Atraxa stuff. So I know I'm playing in AtraxaBowl. I know I'm facing Atraxa decks. I'm facing 3 other Atraxa decks. What do? Fellwar Stone. If I know everyone else is playing the same mana colors as me, then Fellwar Stone gives me any color I need.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute Grace. That's a cute one. All creatures have protection from black. It's a white enchantment. So I can block all your Atraxas until I can get my combo out. Cornered Market is a spell that it's a white enchantment that when you play it, if there's a card already on the board with the name of a card that you want to play, you can't play your card.
Yep. There's a blue version of that too.
Bazaar of Wonders?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that one exiles graveyards too. Hibernation, I had that in there. That's an instant that returns all green creatures to their owner's hands. I always have fun when I play that. And I had a section of the deck dedicated to cheap anti-Atraxa blockers. So these are creatures that have a lower CMC than Atraxa. They have flying or reach, and they have death touch or protection from one of Atraxa's colors. So the death touch ones are Baleful Strix, Winged Coatl, Deadly Recluse. That's a spider. That one came up in the game and saved my butt for a few turns.
Yes, it did.
Yep. Thorn-Wheeled Archer. And for protection, there is Coast Watcher, Dusk Rider Falcon, Nightwind Glider, Scrib Ranger has Flash, Skylasher is a spider. It also has Flash. And then there's Fog Bank and Guard Gomazoa. So any of those can block all your Atraxas as long as I want. Well, the protection ones.
Yeah.
Since everyone's playing with islands, I had thought of Adele Inquisitor. I had Aura Thief to steal all the enchantments. Armory Automaton to steal all the equipment. That got a little complicated, though, because when it has Helm of the Host on it, and it's somebody else's Helm of the Host, they get an Armory Automaton, and then they get their Helm of the Host back.
Yeah. That was a very interesting situation Sean and I had found ourselves in, and he unfortunately had an answer for my own Armory Automaton, which was his own Armory Automaton, and then just was able to keep stealing my helm. Yep.
For good stuff, I think Mirage Mirror is counted as good stuff at this point.
Yeah, it is. It's never not good.
Yeah. Eternal Witness, Cultivate Kadama's Reach. For removal, I had Calming Verse and Creeping Corrosion. And some more budget good stuff. Reigns of Power. I could switch all the creatures with somebody at a critical moment. And Rite of Replication. I'm not sure if that's actually a budget card, but it was within my budget. Some out-of-budget cards. If I'm the only one using basic lands, then I could play back to basics. And then all of your lands don't untap. But mine do.
That's true.
Yep. Living Plane and Humility, I already mentioned those. Any non-budget tutors, I could put a Demonic tutor in there if I wanted.
Vampiric.
Teleria West would be another tutor for Urborg.
Or Enlightened Tutor would be good for the deck to get Karma, or
Karma Spell. Yeah.
Karma Spell, or your Protection enchantments. I mean, your deck could power up quite quickly with a little bit more tutors in it.
Yeah. There are tutors that cost money that I didn't use. Because they cost money. But you could put them in there. Yeah, you could probably swap out all of those anti-Atraxa blockers for whatever other kind of jank you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And Sheoldred Whispering one is Swamp Walk good stuff. I think that covers it.
Did you consider running actual Urborg?
Oh, I looked at that and then I forgot what it did. And
I think it removes
and then
Swamp
you just
Walk.
asked me and I forgot what it did. I don't want to remove Swamp Walk. I like my Swamp Walk.
No, but if somebody else has Swamp Walk and everything is swamps, then it's a problem. It also target creature loses First Strike or Swamp Walk until end of turn. Yeah.
Nope. Not going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the episode.
Yeah. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, so next time we'll talk about something in Commander 2018.
Probably. Either that or we get to listen to me rant for 30 minutes about something. Or Dean.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, this is the new format, so get used to it.
All right, thanks for listening. Visit us at patreon.com/commandertime.
You can find me on Twitter at Grubfellow.
At Detective Yarmits.
At Mr. Plorg.